Hey, Shalom Yahaba Hashem Yahushai Barakathum to all the brothers. Shalom Yahal Shamar Elathaba Hashem Yahushai to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK, South 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under under Commander John Yohana. You understand? And this is the ISUPK Las Vegas Tuesday Brotherhood class. You understand? I am Precinct Officer 500 Rock. All right. So today we're gonna finish up with what we had started the last class that I had taught 2 weeks ago, right? And then from there, like I had said in that class, we're gonna go into on how, as Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women, we all need to come together and be on one accord. You understand? And what made that, the fact that I wanted to put that together, you understand, made that so heavy. Which is why I want to make sure that I get to that tonight, Lord allow, right? Is look at what's going on right now. You know, one of the biggest, stories on the news right now, which is aside from the wars, aside from the big talks between amongst Ukraine, China, America, and Russia, right? Taiwan is Kanye West. You understand the so-called anti-Semitic comments that he had made, right? So, we're gonna kind of touch in on that a little bit because you know what, that is a very heavy topic, and that is something that most definitely needs to be talked about. And then also, like I had said before, we're gonna get into the importance of communication, which, as I said, last time, last time, the all three of these topics go together, right? So we're gonna finish up the breakdown on our multiple wives, right? And Lord allow, we still got time to kill that subject on how we all need to come, get onto one accord as so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women, right? And then, of course, within all that, that's all having communication, having good, solid communication. You understand? And of course, all of this comes out the Bible. You understand? I'm just trying to get to my notes, have that prepared, and then I'm going to get on to the next step, which is liking and sharing the class. You understand? With that being said, for those of y'all that are just tuning in, that are on the class, make sure that you do your part and like to share the class now. You understand? Do your part to get this truth out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? There may be a so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation man or woman on your timeline that is, wanting to change their lives around for the better. And most high crisis, shalom with a crisis. It's good to see you in the class. Shalom with a crisis, truly good to see you in the class. That might be trying to turn their lives around for the better. And the only way that they can do that as a so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man or woman in this, especially here on this earth, with hell, in the world that we live in the society that we all live in, is there. Now, the real word is by us coming back to the law, statutes, commandments. You understand? By us learning who we are in this Bible, by us following under the command of Commander John Yohana up until basically his command is relieved, his leadership is being relieved, and that's either because Christ has returned or you understand he passes on that leadership to the next brother. You understand? Now with that, so now I got my notes ready. If anyone has any questions online, we encourage you to, post your questions on the live chat. And I can see both the Facebook and the YouTube. Oh, actually, yeah. Okay, cool. The Facebook is actually working. Had a notification that said the streamer wasn't going to stream to Facebook, but I guess it is. Look at God. But if anyone has any questions, make sure that you post it in the chat. You understand? We are not the Christian church where we're going to shuck and jive and, sit there and dance around, what your question is. You understand? In the ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are here to encourage questions. You understand? So that we may edify our people. You understand? And with that being said as well, so lucky. I'm not the best multitasker right now. I'm liking to share myself. But yeah, so with that being said as well, if I'm unable to answer the question myself biblically, you understand, to the fullness of biblically, I will be sure to write down your question and take it to a mightier man than myself to get you your answer or your question answered. You understand? Because again, we're not like the Christian church where we're going to sit here and just try to say something that sounds good, make you feel good. Essentially what the Christian pastors essentially try to do, just try to fill your ears up with just a bunch of nonsense so that they can start touching your little boys, your little girls, your brother, your sister, your mommy, your pappy, the whole shebang. Because you know what? Quite frankly, them Christian pastors is some wicked ass bastards. You understand? So, don't be afraid. Post your questions in the chat. We'll be sure to get to your, get your question answered. You understand? And just give me one moment. And Salaki for starting up late. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. All right. Hey, shalom with Christ, sir. Shabbat here in the class. Most high in Christ. Good to see you, sir. About to get this started in just a few moments. All right. That's it. I just need to find out. Let me see where we left off from last week. We're going to pick up from where we left off, all right? I believe the last one we read was, what I got in my notes. Book of Genesis chapter 30 and verse 9, right? So again, we're going to go and finish off that topic with multiple wives. We should be able to wrap this up, right? And then at least get a couple verses into the topic with about whatchamacallit, about how so-called blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women need to be on one accord. Understand? Oh yeah, Khan, sir. Just reiterating what Officer Shabal just said in the comments. So make sure that y'all like and share, subscribe, so you support your brothers. I know I said it, myself. But, hey, camp leader giving y'all orders as well for those of y'all that are just tuning in. You understand? Just reiterating that for those of y'all that are just on Facebook, right? So, like I said, we're gonna start off at the book of Genesis, chapter 30, and then we'll start at verse 4. All right. Again, the topic is, multiple wives, right? Multiple wives being biblical. And you understand, and just like how I said that this topic goes along with the next two topics that we're going to be going into, right? Understanding and breaking this down for our people on both genders. I was about to, be goofy and say spectrums, but both genders, you understand, both sexes, for both of them to understand that it is lawful for a man to have more than one woman. You understand? And it's, especially for a woman to understand that it is lawful for a man to have more than one woman. You understand? This goes hand in hand with that communication. You understand? Because majority of women today believe that, their man is supposed to be just committed to just her. And basically, the crazy thing is they expect to be put up onto some pedestal when, you can damn near, parallel park and hell have a whole ass runway for, a Boeing 757 out of her Grand Canyon. But yeah, I'm supposed to put you on a pedestal because you some great, I guess, a Grand Canyon. I guess that's the only thing I can come up with. You understand? It don't make no sense. And a lot of that making no sense and us even thinking that way in the first place. Hey, shalom to Christ, sir. It's good to see you in the class. Shalom to Christ, young man John. It's good to see you in the class. But a lot of this, misconception and why we even think that way in the first doggone place is because our people don't have that knowledge. And part of receiving knowledge is having communication. You understand? And quite frankly, hey, you get to learn, you get to attain the knowledge here in the ISUPK, but also learn how to properly communicate. You understand? So that there will be no more, issues where, a woman or even a man is on some, well, I didn't know that. You understand? Because if you in your school in the ISUPK, you're going to learn what these laws, statutes, and commandments are according to the Bible. You understand? We're not going to do anything according to how you feel or how your grandmama feel, how your mama feel. You know what? At the end of the day, to keep it a buck with y'all, the hell with them. Because it's us following those people who know nothing is why we're, part of the reason why we are in the circumstance that we are in currently as blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? Just like what the scripture says, just paraphrasing it, but the blind leading the blind. You understand? You ain't gonna get nowhere. But yourself hurt. You understand? And quite frankly, hell, again, just look at the condition, the situation that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women are in. We're in a situation, we're in a place where we're constantly getting hurt. And the sad part is we're hurting our own. You understand? Because we following after somebody that taught us our ways, our book. You understand? So that we would hurt our own. You understand that? How just ridiculous that is. You understand? That's why this ISUP, being in the ISUPK, being in these classes is so important. You understand? So let's go ahead and get that, right? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30 and verse 4. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her. And I believe Bilhah is Rachel's. That's Rachel, Jacob's first wife. You understand? Jacob went and gave 7 years of his life, right, to essentially get Rebecca's hand in marriage. All right. And their father, which was his name? I believe Laban, yes, I knew it was right. Laban kind of did a little bit unbrotherly and snuck, his eldest daughter, you understand, Rachel, into the tent when he was supposed to, when Rebecca was supposed to go in there, right? So Rachel ended up being Jacob's first wife. You understand? And of course, because of what the topic is, y'all need to understand that Rachel was his first wife, and Rachel even said, "Man, you know what? I don't feel like there's an issue with me bearing children right now. Take my handmaiden and go in unto her. Make her your wife as well, so that basically I can have children through her." Something very simple. We saw that earlier in Genesis with Abraham. You understand? Abraham and Sarah. Sarah, they was what, 70, 80 years old, I believe it was. They was. And Sarah was like, you know what? Man, take my handmaiden. what was her name? Hagar, I believe is how you say her name. I'll take my handmaiden Hagar, go into her and have a child with her, so that through her I may have a child. You understand? Same thing happened all over again. And the reason why Abraham never got disciplined for him having another wife, him dealing with that woman, that second woman, and quite frankly, Jacob not having to deal with any type of consequence for taking himself a second woman, because it's lawful. You understand? It's that simple, because it is lawful. The Lord, the Most High God, ordains this. You understand what I'm saying? Reading on. And Jacob went in unto her. So he put his rod inside of her box, and then Bala, but I believe that's how you say her name. So like if I'm butchering it. But then she became one of his wives. You understand? I'm going to drop down to verse 9. When Leah saw that she had when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zalpah, her maid, and gave her to Jacob to wife. You understand? Oh, Salaki, I got it mixed up. Leah was his first wife. Rachel was his the little sister. Right? I believe I said that correctly. Salaki. Right? Leah. Now we got Leah right here. Right? Did the same thing where she gave her handmaiden to Jacob. Now Jacob's got 4 doggone wives. And the crazy part is, what do y'all think the 12 tribes, the 12 sons of Israel come from? From those 4 women and that one man. You understand that? So this right here off the top, man, I mean, this is how the like I said, the 12 tribes came about. You understand? There would be no tribe of Judah of whence Yahushua Mashiach comes from, or Jesus Christ in the English, King David, King Solomon, hell, myself. I wouldn't be a part of no tribe of Judah if it hadn't been for Jacob having four women and him having Judah with one of his wives. Then of course you can apply that with the other 11 tribes based off of what tribe you come from. So-called Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. You understand? You so-called Mexican, you come from the tribe of Issachar. Man, there will be no tribe of Issachar if Jacob didn't have, that woman that he had Issachar with. You understand? Ephraim with Benjamin, Benjamin with Gad, Reuben. You understand? The list goes on until basically until you hit the 12. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? The Bible lets you know, just being practical, and that there was no, the Lord didn't have, the Most High God didn't have any disciplinary action nor a law that basically disciplines a man for having more than one woman. You understand? There's laws that talks about if a man does take another woman. There's laws that talk about if a man lays down with another man or a woman lays down with another woman. There's even law, of course, the law speaks against a man laying with another man and a woman laying with another woman. Hell, it even talks about, the two having orgies. We're not to do that either. Them threesomes and orgies and whatnot, man. Sex is supposed to be between 2 people and 2 people alone. You understand? Those things will have consequences if you partake in them. You understand? There will be a consequence if a woman has more than one man. You understand? Hell, even if she decides that, I'm just going to stop sleeping with this man. I'm just going to go start sleeping with that other man. Just because he makes me unhappy. And I'm just not as excited. And my life is not as fulfilled. Okay, you're a whore, you're an adulteress, and the Lord is going to deal with you. Now you got blood on your hands. You understand? There are laws that warn you not to do that. There is no law that warns a man not to have more than one woman. You understand? All right, we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 1. And some of these we'll kind of get through like real fast and real quick, just because of the fact that they're just real simple examples. You understand? Where like it might say that this brother had 8 wives or whatever, and then it goes on to tell the story of whatever happened with himself and his many wives. You understand? Of course, I'm bringing that out for y'all to see that the Lord, nowhere is it ever going to say that the Lord had an issue with this brother having more than one wife. You understand? Concert, just those pastors didn't know nothing. I think that's still young man John saying something. For some reason on my screen, it says it just says Facebook user, and then there's no picture. But if that is you, John, now you correct. And they do and they don't. You understand? They turn their face away from wisdom and actual knowledge. At the end of the day, they really do know what's going on, what's actually being said in the Bible about Israelites, and the Bible's only for Israelites. You understand what the law, statutes, commandments are. They see that, because you also got to think, if they didn't see that, why wouldn't they be taking the time to explain to you that through the blood of Christ, as long as you wash yourself with the blood of Christ and confess with your mouth that you believe in the Lord and Jesus Christ, and I don't know what else you got to do. Y'all get baptized. You do this, that, and the other. The law is done and over with, and it doesn't pertain to you no more. All you have to do is just pay your tithes and keep coming to church and singing with us and dancing. And in fact, you may be able to even partake in the homosexual choir circle that they got going on at your local church. You understand? Like, they know what they doing, but they just turn a blind eye to what the truth is, to what they know to be right. You understand? It's what okay. No, Most High Christ, John. What was I gonna say? It's kind of similar to like this, right? Like how you would have like in the cartoons where a dude, he's got to make a decision, and then you got that little angel that pop up, and then the little devil that pop up. His two-sided conscience trying to, oh no, you should go do this. Oh no, you shouldn't go do that. Da 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 da. Trying to take him, either way. The dude, the pastor is just choosing to listen to his evil, wicked conscience, because at the end of the day, that angel is still, that good side, the side that knows, that side of knowledge, that side of wisdom is still saying, hey man, like we do know better. That's why you would even have that debate in the first doggone place. But you know what? In reality, that is something that we all do partake in. You understand? Where something comes your way, and you like, damn, man, how you that temptation puts you at a crossroads. You like, damn, I really want to hit that cigarette. I really want to, smoke that weed. Whatever that temptation is for you, right? That you struggle with. But then, like when I was knocking, a lot of times it'd be like, man, just hit it. You be all right. Just get it over with. Just take a little bit and you be okay. But then I'm like, man, why am I even thinking like that? Like, damn well the high is gonna be terrible. I'm gonna be sitting there worried that in the middle of me being high, Christ is actually gonna, he's gonna return, and I'm gonna be high during that, which means I'm gonna get dealt with. You know what I'm saying? It's that same exact thing, but the pastors are just choosing to listen to that wicked side. You feel me out? All right. First book of 1 Samuel, chapter 1, and verse. We're gonna start at 1. All right. Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, and Ephrathite. All right. So right here, it's giving you a pedigree of who this brother was. He's the son of, the son of so and so, right? Verse 2. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. You understand? Now, y'all can go and read this for yourself if you want to get the full story on that, right? And really, you would only have to read just that one chapter. All right, what is that? 28 verses. Y'all can do this on your own time. But it just immediately starts to tell you a story about this brother who had 2 wives. One of them had children. The other one doesn't. You understand? And then it just goes into the story about how the one that doesn't have children is praying to be able to bear children. Nowhere in this chapter is it going to be, and the Lord was wroth with, what was the brother's name? Man of Ramathaim, and his name was Elkanah. You understand? Nowhere is it going to say that Elkanah had, he was going to be, the Lord was going to deal with him in a negative light because he had more than one woman. You understand? So again, this is a short, quick example of yet again in the Bible that somebody had more than one woman. You understand? Because you know what? And I was guilty of this before I came into the truth. I always thought that there was only a handful of people. And just like, that being just the main stories throughout the Bible that have more than one wife. Other than that, I just thought it was cool when a brother, was able to, pull it off to have more than one woman. But of course, that was my worldly self, right? When I came into the truth, I started learning, taking notes, doing research, you understand? And come to find out, man, a lot of the stories, not that they repeat themselves, but they do. You'll see the same story more than one time. For example, you understand, multiple women, where this brother had this issue where this woman couldn't bear children. So, basically what you have with Jacob and Abraham and their wives, it's the same thing. You understand? Hell, you can even go to the extent of the nonsense that Moses had to go through with keeping Israel united and following the law, statutes, commandments right after the Exodus. You understand? He wasn't the only brother who had to deal with that. You understand? Another popular story was Christ. Y'all do realize that Christ went through that same thing where brothers was listening to him, and then within Israel, they'd be like, okay, let's start our own shit. Why do y'all think that we have fake Israelite camps today, where you got them purple homosexuals, IUIC, or them pedophiles? What is it? Is it GMS or GLCC and Salaki? Those are the only ones I can name off. You understand? But I bet you all the other Israelites know who the hell we are in the ISUPK, Salaki. But that's because everybody knows who the one and true main body is. You understand? And that's, the main body that Moses was leading and teaching and guiding. Same thing with Christ. You understand? It's something that is ongoing and repeats. You understand? I believe, I could be wrong, but I think Esdras actually went through. No, he didn't. Esdras did it. But hell, King David, because you got to think, he was dealing with a nation that was divided, whom of which he was trying to unite. You understand? Man, these things happen over and over again. Damn near sound like a Usher song. Over and over again. I gotta stop. You understand? All right, now we're going to drop that. We're gonna now we're that's verse or chapter 25. So we're gonna drop that, go to 1 Samuel chapter 25, and then we're gonna start at verse 39. All right. Hold on. There ain't no such thing. Did I write? Oh, for some reason I'm in 2 Samuel. It's a lot of y'all. Started school today was my first day of school today. I'm a little bit on overload a little bit. It's lucky. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, there we go. All right. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25 and verse 39. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, "Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant from evil. For the Lord had returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head." And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. Verse 40. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, "David sent us unto thee to take thee to him to wife." And she arose and bowed herself on her face to the earth and said, "Behold, let thine handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my Lord." Verse 42. And Abigail hasted and arose and rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of hers that went after her. And she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. All right. So mind you, this is one system. Now check this out. Verse 43. David also took Anam of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives. So right here, he just took 2 women to wife. You understand? King David. And let us not forget what the Most High God has said about King David now, that King David was a man of what? King David was a man after his own heart. He was a man of God. You understand? Having 2 wives. Where's the issue there? Now, your Christian grandmama, your Christian pastor will tell you that's an issue. But what does the Bible say? You understand? Where and why? Where did King David get dealt with? Because he dealt with more than one woman. Don't talk about that adultery now, because he did get dealt with that. And the issue was adultery. You understand? Dealt with another man's woman. All right? There ain't nothing wrong with a man having his own wives, dealing with multiple of his own wives. You understand? I pray that y'all do. All right, gonna drop that. We're gonna go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 30 and verse 18. All right. The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 30, verse 18. And David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away. And David rescued his 2 wives. You understand? Even talking about his 2 wives again. I mean, if it was so bad for him to have more than one woman, I mean, you would think that the Lord would possibly set up a way for him to be able to drop one so that he can keep it lawful. Well, guess what? The Lord made it, gave him a way to rescue both his wives, because having both of them was lawful. I pray that you understand. All right. Now we're going to go to the book of 2 Samuel. Okay. Also, if I'm going too fast, y'all just let it be known in the chat. And again, if y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, what have you, bitching, moaning, griping, what have you, please don't go on my chat moments. Like it. But if y'all got anything, that y'all would like to add on or just inquire about, make sure that y'all post it in the chat. Baba Kasha, all right? All right, this is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 5 and verse 13, all right? And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem. Hold up, man. I mean, he already got 2 wives. Isn't it? I mean, is there a law? Is there a cap on how many that he can take? Apparently not, because when did King David get dealt with, punished for having more than one woman? And as you see, let's read it one more time. Verse 13. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to David. So that in one verse, that also lets you know that, time had transpired since he took those women for him to wife. How do you know? Let's be practical. Of course, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Practical knowledge. You understand? So it said that he, in that time, that then came about sons and daughters. You understand? And there were yet sons and daughters born to David. Don't look like he got punished for taking him some more concubines and more wives. You understand? It's like I might have to sneeze. We're gonna drop that. Now we're gonna go to the book of First Chronicle. Man, I hate when that happens. We're gonna go to actually no, we're gonna go to 2 Samuel 12 and 7. Then we'll go to First Chronicles. So 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 7. All right. 2 Samuel 12, verse 7. All right. And Nathan said to David, Thou art the man, thus saith the Lord God of Israel. I anointed thee king over Saul, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. You understand? And I gave thee I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Did anything stand out to y'all? I hope it did. Because look what we just read over. You understand? First of all, Nathan is over here, like, man, you that nigga. All right, you that dude that the Most High God had chose, man, for this seat, for him to give you, to be king over Israel. You understand? In the midst of being put into that seat, the Most High God gave you women, not a woman, women, for you to take as wives. Now, an important thing to take from that is, well, and this is me speaking to the brothers, all right, women, sure, they are a prize, but they are not an expendable prize. You understand? They are not something that you go and use, and then when you're done with it, you throw it away. All right. Women, you make that commitment with a woman to take her as your wife. Now, mind you, it's not you going to sign a piece of paper, you giving her a stupid ring, jumping over a broom, anything like this, stepping on what do they do? Step on glass wrapped in napkins or something like that. Right? That's not what makes you married. You understand? The doggone pastor, preacher, reading something that's not even in the Bible, even though he's sitting there holding the Bible as if, hey, this is what the Bible says. Get ready to make your vows now. Nah, man. You understand? That's not what makes y'all married. When you decide that you are going to entice a sister so that you can stick your rod inside of her, that is you making the decision that, you know what, I want this commitment with this woman for the rest of mine and or her life. You understand? Every time that you decide to stick your rod inside of a woman, that's what you're saying exactly. You understand? So what comes with that? A whole lot of responsibility. You understand? Because again, man, she ain't no juice box that you can just, once all the good juice is all good, you just crumble it up and throw it in the trash. Nah, man. Nah. That is your woman for the end of y'all's days. You understand? Until Either she dies or commits adultery. That's the only way that you can basically get rid of her from being your wife no more. You understand? And quite frankly, for you women, I mean, for the most part, the only way that you can cut ties from your man is if he dies. That's it. You understand? And of course, I know that there are people out there that want to, oh, okay, but what about this scenario? What if he's doing this? What if he's doing that? Excellent questions. All right. Make sure that you take that to your respective camp leader and get and receive counsel. You understand? If you're in a circumstance where you're like, hold on, I might need to find out if this is a situation that I just have to endure. You understand? But for those of y'all sisters that are single and not in a relationship like that yet, mind you, I mean, when you dealing with niggas that is outside in the world, you rolling the dice to have you an abusive, get yourself into an abusive relationship. You understand? So that's what you need to keep in mind. Do you want to really take that risk and end up with a nigga like that? And some of y'all already had that nigga. Some of y'all already had 2 or 3 of them. Keep going back to him for whatever reason, right? Getting your ass beat, but you wanted to stop, and I don't blame you. You understand? Again, that's why these classes in the ISUPK are so doggone important. You know what? We'll teach you how to love yourself so you don't keep running to niggas that just want to beat your ass and say, well, I do it because I love you. And he must love you a lot because he beat you a lot type ordeal. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not trying to poke light at that because that really is a serious matter. That's a serious situation. My point is just, trying to elaborate and expound on how important these classes are, and that also y'all sisters do have a way of getting help, good, proper help, that as long as you listen to the counsel, things will change for the better. Not the way that you may intend it, depending on your situation. Not the way that you want, but the way that you need them to change. You understand? In the ISUPK, and hell, the ISUPK is the answer to all Black, Hispanic, and First Nation men and women problems. You understand? The thing is it just may not, the solutions we give y'all may not be what you want, but it is what you need. And that's the most important thing for y'all to understand. And I pray that you do. All right. So again, what was we at? Salakia, 2 Samuel 12:7, right? 12:7. There. So again, another instance. It even said that, man, let's read that again. 12:8. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. So in other words, if David would have asked for more, and let's say the more that he asked for, well, more women. He said, I want 30,000 more. It's lucky, sir. That's still not enough. Let me get another 30,000 more. Now he got 60-something doggone wives. If he would have asked for it, the Lord, the Most High God would have gave it to him because it's lawful. You understand? Because he was only going to ask things that were aligned with what the Most High God would even be okay with. You understand? So in other words, something that he wouldn't ask for is the ability to sell drugs, the ability to start doing fortune telling or something. I know I'm being ridiculous, but y'all get my point though. You understand? Nothing would be asked that would have been wicked. And then the Most High God would have gave it to him. Part of the reason why the Most High God was was willing to give King David whatever he would have asked for, because King David, just like what God said about him, he was a man after his own heart. It's a righteous brother. So he's only going to ask of me righteous things. You understand? All right. All right. Now we're going to go to the book of First Chronicles, chapter 14 and verse 2. All right. The book of First Chronicles, chapter 14 and verse 2. If I can find Chronicles. Like I got this new Bible. I'm trying to learn how to navigate through it. So like using these little tabs. I think the tabs make it easier, man. They kind of make me a little slower. I'm already slow as hell. So like, all right. There we go. All right. So this is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 14 and verse 2 through 3. All right. And David perceived that the Lord had confirmed him king over Israel, for his kingdom was lifted up on high because of his people Israel. Verse 3, oh snap. And David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begat more sons and daughters. You understand? So again, there's a hand-in-hand precept. Boom, happened here, happened there. All right, simple as that. Now we're going to go to the book of First Chronicles. Drop that, go to the book of First Chronicles. The book of First Chronicles, chapter 5, chapter 4, verse 5. First Chronicles, chapter 4, and verse 5. There we go. This is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 4, and verse 5. And Ashur, the father of Tekoa, had two wives, Hilah and Narah. Again, some of these verses I'm going to bring out is just really quick. Hey, look, these brothers have more than one wife. So just real quick examples for y'all to see that it's something that is all throughout the doggone Bible. You understand? Which also lets you know that it is the culture of a so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man and woman for the men to have more than one woman. If you want to learn your true culture, come into the ISUPK and learn the proper way, you understand, to get the proper understanding of this Bible. You understand? Because this Bible has got your culture, it's got your history, so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman. You understand? All right, now we're going to drop that. Go to First Chronicle, chapter 8, verse 8. All right. Book of First Chronicle, chapter 8, verse 8. And Shaharaim begat children in the country of Moab after he had sent them away. Hushim and Ba'arah were his wives. Again, another example. Brother had two wives. All right. Now we're going to go to Second Chronicles, chapter 13, verse 21. All right. Book of Second Chronicles, chapter 13, verse 21. Wait, right, 21? Yeah. But Abijah waxed mighty and married 14 wives and begat 22 sons and 16 daughters. Now, I know we saw a whole lot of brothers with just two wives, right? Now, this brother got doggone 14 wives. Now, me personally, if I could, that's a bit much. But hey, that's me personally. Right, don't want that man. Now, the amount of sons that this brother dude got, I am righteously envious of that, man. That's the quiver load I'm trying to have. 22 doggone sons just pulling out left and right. You understand? Let them loose in the doggone world on this earth, to spread that seed like a dandelion. Never mind, it's a lie. But y'all understand, brother had 14 doggone wives. And amongst them 14 wives, this brother had 22 sons and $16. 16 daughters. You understand? This brother had 38 kids amongst his 14 wives. I mean, hey, let's read the very next verse just to see, because that's at the end of the chapter. Let's see what it says, right? Verse 22, and the rest of the acts of Abijah and his ways and his sayings are written in the story of the prophet Iddo. I believe that's how you say it. You understand? So it doesn't look like there was an issue. You understand? The rest of his acts and his ways and his sayings are written in the story of the prophet of Iddo. So in other words, the things that he did are accounted for. You understand? I ain't going front. I actually I'm going to write that down my doggone self. I'm not sure if y'all got a question about that. I'm about to ask that question. Should I ask it before? What book is the prophet Iddo? Asking that. Watch. The mighty priest and officer 5,000 Shabar camp leader out here. That's the brother I go to. Usually, pretty much gets my answers. He gets my questions answered. You understand? All right. What was that? 2 Chronicles 13:21. We're gonna drop that. We're gonna go to 2 Chronicles 24:3. Again, if I'm going to fast for anybody that is tuning in, said 24, yeah, 24:3. If I'm going to fast, just let it be known in the chat. If y'all have any questions, you understand, post it in the chat as well. All right. Like I said, a lot of this is going to be a bunch of examples. You know what I'm saying? Once we actually get to a little bit more of a breakdown, I'll kind of slow it down there to expound on what those verses mean. All right, because I really do want to get into the next topic. All right, we at 8:15. Yeah, okay, I might be able to do it. All right, so this is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 23. That's like it. Chapter 24, in verse 3. And Jehoiada, it's lagging, man. My Hooked on Phonics subscription just ended not too long ago, so I'm trying to practice my sounding out of the words and the names to make sure I say it correctly. But y'all just gotta, forgive me. I'm gonna be butchering some of these names, man. It's like you. But and Jehoiada took for him 2 wives, and he begat sons and daughters. And again, we'll read the next verse just to see if he, if the Lord's anger was turned to wrath because of that, right? Verse 4. And it came to pass after this that Joash was minded to repair the house of the Lord. Don't seem like any type of punishment was there. It sounds like somebody was entrusted by the Most High God, who had just took himself more than one woman. So, you understand? All right. Drop that. Now we're going to go back to the book of Genesis, right? We're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 19. And let us always remember what the word Genesis means. While I'm pulling that up, is there anybody in the chat who can tell me what Genesis means? Baba Kashan, I'll give y'all a few moments just to see if anybody does know. There you go. Most High in Christ, sis. You understand, Maria Shemaiah, a very strong woman in this truth. You understand? She knows the book of Genesis. It means, or not the book of Genesis, but Genesis means beginning. It's the beginning, right? So the stories that you read in the book of Genesis, these are all the stories that, for one, matter to even be recorded in the first place by, that the Most High God had told Moses to write down in the first place, that mattered in our history, mind you. You understand? It's letting you know that, like, all of these things have been going on since the beginning. So every time that you turn the page, everything after that, man, I mean, that's just moving right in the timeline. You understand? Just like how you going from left to right in the doggone, in the Bible, and it's the same thing. You understand? You're moving right on the timeline. Nothing ever changed. We're still doing the same thing. It's always going to be our culture. It's always going to be in us to be a certain way and a certain type of people. You understand? All right. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 4, and verse 19. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other was Zillah. We're going to drop down to 23, just keep this going. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Now, I'm going to stop right there real quick. Who in the chat can tell me what's so important about what I just read right there? Think about a man, and I'll give y'all a hint too. And I'm going to restart this verse. I'm going to see what y'all come up with the answer. What is so important about this verse right here in comparison to when you got niggas in the world today that try to have more than one woman and whatnot? To have, mind you, niggas in the world, more than one woman. I gave y'all a little bit too much of a hint, but what should really stand out? And I'll read that again. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. He's speaking to both of them equally, okay? Tells you no secret. Give me more on the telling me, tells you no secret. What you mean by that? What you mean by that? That he's not keeping it a secret. He's not keeping what a secret. What is no secret? Mind you, I'm out. Of course, y'all, just for future reference, if any time, something you're watching an ISUPK class, when the teacher asks a question for you in the chat, or even if you're here in the classroom, always try to answer the question as if you're trying to break it down to a dumbass Christian. Make it as plain and simple as possible, where they don't have any room to try to ask questions except for expounding on what you said, so to speak. So in other words, like, you're saying the right thing, but I'm like, okay, but I'm a dumb Christian. I don't know nothing. You gotta now I need you to explain that even further. What is it a secret? You know what I'm saying? So answer that for me, Baba Kashai. Get ready to go to the next. Exactly. Get a sister in hand. You understand? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Him having multiple wives is no secret. You understand? What's important about this is that you brothers need to take note of this. All right, especially with them doggone history buffs, like you, I want to talk about, oh yeah, back in the day we was kings and we was this and we was that. But you know what? A lot of the niggas wasn't liars. A lot of them niggas, they didn't hide behind a woman. They actually manned the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little joke that I have in my house that that I'll say to my oldest boy, that when he tries to say, oh yeah, it was his, his sister said he could do it, or my mom, or like, why are you acting like Adam? Why are you hiding behind a woman? You understand? If you put yourself into a situation like that where you gotta hide behind a woman, you afraid of your woman, so you just do whatever to please her. You understand? And you act like Adam. Why you being an Adam? You understand? Man the hell up. Because in Genesis, in this, when what he did was, that was soft. What he did, he hid behind his woman. He basically said, "Well, I mean, shit, fuck, Eve did it. Eve told me she brought this knowledge to me so that I would, partake in the good and the knowledge of good and evil. She brought this forward to me. That's weak. You understand? So when you sit there and you put yourself into a position where you have to lie to a woman that's doing the same exact thing. Because just like how Eve essentially had power over Adam, you're saying that this Eve has power over you. So you are Adam. You acting like Adam all over again. Man the hell up. Quit being Adam. You want to talk about how, badass King David and King Solomon was, then goddamn it, act like it. You think that King Solomon said, Salakia, babe, I went to the bowling alley with the boys. I can't see you tonight. Just so he can go see his other woman? Man, King Solomon person, shut the fuck up, bitch. You know what the hell I'm doing. You really want to know that bad? Man, I'll tell you. I'm about to go get my 233rd goddamn wife. Since you want to know so bad, you want your feelings hurt so bad, now you know. You understand? And the crazy thing, y'all, what y'all brothers really gotta see is that when you straight up with a woman, she may not like what she hears. That, oh man, I might have to share my man, and this, that, the other. She may not like it, and goddamn 99.9999% chance she's not going to like it. But one thing I will tell you is she'll show the hell respect you for being the fact that you are actually man enough that you wasn't gonna lie about it. Which that in itself will make her reconsider. I mean, normally I want to be cool with this because if a nigga cheated on me, I'd be hot. But like, this is a different scenario. This is a different ball game. We're on a different playing field now. This is a man who's not afraid of me. I don't know what I need to do. I need to know more. Man, what they say, you just mind effed her. Just by simply saying, hey, like, yeah, you go to the bar. Oh yeah, you start getting a girl. Oh, you single? Yeah, I'm single, but I ain't single, but I'm available. Simple as that. So, what? Nah, don't get on no little fuck games. Like, listen, this is what it is, but this is what it ain't. And you just stay on that note of keeping it real, man. She gonna respect you off of that. Just that alone. You understand? So like, all right, we dropping that. I know I keep like sidebarring a little bit too much. I'm actually trying to get through this like y'all. But it's, some of this, we got some young cats in here that I know that are watching these classes that need to soak up at least a little bit game, or it's gonna be gamers. So like, I'm just playing. But y'all understand the point is, right? First and foremost, especially because this is the clash of understanding that having multiple women, a man having multiple women is lawful, right? So of course, I want y'all to understand that. That's why I'm showing y'all all of these examples. But with that one verse also is a prime example that everybody needs to learn from. Quit being weak. Be straight up. Because how are you going to have a woman of God but you ain't even man enough to stand up for what the hell God told you that you can and cannot do. You understand? Riddle me this. Or riddle me that. So there we go, man. I could not find it. We're going to the book of Chronicles. I don't know if I already said it, Salagi, but I'm just going to repeat it because I can do that. First Chronicles, chapter 7 and verse 4. I'm just trying to get there. Like I said, man, I have a hard time with this doggone sword, man. I cannot navigate through this at all. All right, and again, if there's any questions online while I'm getting this up, whether it's on topic, off topic, doesn't matter. Post it. You understand? Get your question out there. Quit sitting in the abyss of not knowing, that abyss of no knowledge. Get yourself some knowledge. All right. You know what? Chances are, and I'll even let you know if you ask a certain question, I'm like, ooh, damn. I need to know. I'll let you know. You understand? Like slick. I'll even tell y'all when I go to class, I play a little game. I'm one of the people like I can't stop playing a game. You don't even know that you're playing a game with me when we out in public. Like I'm that type of person. I play games in my head. First one to step on a square. I can't break my stride. Right. First one to step on a crack, loses. Like I'm stupid like that. So when I come to class, I play a little game. Especially there's other brothers and sisters that come to class to stump the teacher. First one to that stumps the teacher wins. And it's just as simple as getting him to say, Salagi, text that to me, write that down, whoop. I gotta ask somebody else to get clarification for you. You understand? Like that's a little game that I play. You understand? Like I don't get no necessarily a reward aside from the fact that hey, I'm like, okay, cool. At least I know I'm thinking in a certain direction where I'm thinking right in the right direction where because I do ask some ridiculous questions, but I know when they're ridiculous, and I reserve those for off the camera. You understand? But on the camera, it lets me know that I'm thinking in the right direction when I'm trying to, get an understanding and breaking down certain verses. You understand? Yeah. All right. So book of First Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 4. And with them, by their generations, after the house of their fathers, were bands of soldiers for war, 36,000 men, for they had many wives and sons. You understand? They had many wives and sons. Now, why would it be numbered the amount of soldiers that was there, but not the amount of wives and the sons that they had? You understand? It's letting you know that all of those, amongst that 30,000, them 30,000 soldiers, they all had many wives. And amongst those many wives that they had many sons. It was blessed. You understand? Mind you, like I said, it was blessed. That is a beautiful thing for a man to be able to be strong enough, to learn to be strong enough and stand up to deal with, to lead and instruct and guide more than one woman at a time as his wives. All of them, no matter how many it is. You understand? That's a beautiful thing. You understand? And the messed up part is the countries that are ruled by the colonizer, we'll just go with that, so-called white man, the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. I like that better, Salaki, right? Those countries are the only ones who practice monogamy. But then the funny thing is, those are some of the countries that in the closet homosexual the homosexuality is the most prominent, which makes no sense. Now, are there homosexuals in the Middle East? Yeah, sure, but it's not necessarily the same level as them, them so-called white men. You understand? In their land. You understand? My point with that is everybody everywhere believes in having multiple goddamn, the man of the house having multiple goddamn partners. The difference is the white man is so afraid of just telling the truth that he's got to, put together this whole monogamy system that nobody believes in. Is there anything wrong with having a monogamous relationship? No. There's people throughout history that never dealt with a woman, period. Just was born and died. Never seen, never knowing the woman's touch in that way. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with a man only being with one woman his entire life. There's nothing wrong with it. But you know what else is? There's nothing wrong with a man having more than one wife. You understand me? Because the crazy thing is, for any of y'all goofy ass Christians that's watching this, oh no, my pastor said that. Your goddamn pastor probably playing with your goddamn daddy booty hole. It's a lot. He playing with your daddy behind the scenes, probably your brother too, because your brother in the choir. You understand me? That's your pastor. That's who your pastor is. It's a lot. This whole lie, just about, the fact that we can't have more than one woman is ridiculous because, mind you, what is this, and with them, by their generations, after the house of their fathers were bands of soldiers for war. This was many men of war. In other words, these are strong men that can not only follow and take orders, but lead and give orders. That's off the rip. That's a powerful man. That's a good man off the rip. Just that in itself. So it lets you know that he will think about what needs to be, what is necessary and what needs to be done out of necessity. You understand? At a baseline. You understand me? And these strong men had multiple women, and you find that to be a bad thing. Oh, them niggas, if a woman in 2022 were to read that, what would they say? Oh, them niggas just ain't shit. It couldn't be me. Bitch, you goddamn right. But the funny thing is, your goofy ass got many husbands. Who wants to deal with you? Only thing that will satisfy you is that Boeing 757. It's a lock. All right. Now let's drop that. We're going to go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. So right here, we're going to start slowing down with the examples. And since we did start a little late, I'm going to go over the time of 9 o'clock. All right. Because on my timer, I got us at an hour and 13. And then it's only 8:30. It's 8:36 right now. So we're going to go over the time a little bit for tonight. All right. Okay. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. Unless, sliding, if I could right quick, unless we get to the very last verse and it's 8:55, and we're within that 5-minute mark, then we'll go ahead and end it. And in the very following class that I teach, we'll get on to the next topic I had. That way we can just start from the very beginning and just get straight into, how we all need to be on one accord for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? All right. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that has been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Now, if I could, this is one of my more favorite, my most favorite scriptures, for one, because, and I'm not going to sit here and false claim like I'm a history buff, but I do like history, and just like comparing and contrasting like the things that happened then, and then being in the truth, seeing them being revealed, today, like the things that happened in the biblical times, then that happened, going into the first century, second century, et cetera, all the way leading up until today. Like doing that, like compare and contrast, for one, that just shows more and more so that the Bible is real. You understand that the things that we are teaching in this school is real. You understand that? And the reason why I said that the Bible is real, because mind you, my background before coming into the truth, I wasn't a church goer. I was agnostic, which basically just meant I didn't believe in any story. I thought they were all BS. But I did recognize the fact, I couldn't deny the fact that there was a higher power. I knew there was a God. It was just something that I didn't understand. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like when I would read things like this, that there's like, there's nothing new under the sun. The things that had been will be, and the things that were done will be done again. Like that's literally saying like this type of person, this person, was here before. You were here before. I was here before. You understand? So in other words, this is also a regeneration precept, one of those manifold precepts, right? But yeah, so getting back onto the topic, Salakia, right? The thing that hath been is that which shall be done. So, or Salakia, which shall be. So that's letting you know that, the things that were here before, it'll be here again. Something, for example, especially because I've got a military background. I was in Esau's military for a bit. It was hard to believe because I'm fat and chubby now, but once upon a time I was actually a fit soldier for the wrong army, but nonetheless I was fit. Working back on it, but anyways, there was the Esau's militaries period have artillery regiments, right? Well, that's nothing new today. The only thing that's different is basically the method of delivering your artillery. Okay, so for those of y'all that ain't too military savvy, I'll break it down for you. All right, so artillery back then, before we had missiles and bombs and stuff like that, was basically big ass rocks that they would douse in oil and light it on fire, put them in trebuchets, put them in catapults, etc. Things like that, right? That was artillery. Artillery was basically used to dwindle the numbers of the opposing military in larger groups per round. So like one round would be a big ass boulder, hey, might be a boulder as big as a freaking rock. Salaki. A boulder as big as a car. All right. They would put it on the trebuchet, they'd put it in the catapult, whatever artillery weapon they were using, and then they would shoot it off into the distance before basically they came into the range of your ranger artillery, because still technically archery, that's artillery as well. It's just small arms artillery, right? And so what that rock would do was not only would it make impact on the ground and sometimes go straight into it and hit a large surface, and if they're accurate, kill more than one man at a time. But a lot of times, they'd hit the ground and keep on rolling and killing, and it's creating a big ass death path. You understand? So it was our big artillery is designed to basically kill in larger amounts per individual round. right? Or of course, you would also use artillery to, sieging the castle, to break down the walls so that they would have an opportunity to an entrance into the castle, an entrance into the wall. So you don't necessarily have to go through the front gate, or to even just establish another point of entry, right? It's no different than what we have today. The only difference is the method of delivery and basically what is being delivered. At the end of the day, though, it's still a rock. You understand? Those explosives is just ground up rocks that have certain chemical compounds. That's all it is. You understand? Metal itself is rock. It's refined rock. You understand? So, it's still designed to do the same exact thing. It gets launched up into the air. When it comes down, now you don't have to necessarily worry about it hitting the ground and rolling. When it hits the ground, it's gonna, it's pretty much, that's the area that, is going to be affected, unless you have a particular round, which, because I was not to go into it or even glorify it too much, not at all, Salakia. I meant not to go into it too much, but I was an ammunition specialist, so I dealt with a lot of different. I have a lot of knowledge on the different weapon systems, and also the ammunition types, where they would have certain artillery rounds that they would spin so many rotations and then explode in the air because they had certain things inside of them that was designed for anti-infantry, anti-air, or anti-vehicle. You understand? So, like if it was something against anti-infantry, which is basically your footmen, the men that are, marching and whatnot, it'll rotate 1,000 times. And once it hits 1,000 rotations, it'll explode and release white phosphorus gas, which is basically this white powder that burns you, like literally burns you. It'll burn you alive. It's technically illegal against the Geneva Convention. But anyways, you understand, there's nothing new. You understand? It's lacking for sidebarring on that a little bit too long, right? But, just a quick little comparison on just the thousands of year difference between, the military equipment that is being utilized today in 2022 versus the military equipment that was being utilized in, 300 BC. You understand? And yeah, Khan says that's literally what we're going over right now is Ecclesiastes 1-9. I know that you just got into the class. Shalom Yahal Shamar Lathub Hashem Yahushai. It's good to see you, sis. But that's literally what we're going over right now. It's Ecclesiastes 1-9, how there's nothing new under the sun. The topic being, the main topic right now being multiple wives, right? And that's also what we're going to get into. Right, so that's one of those things that that have been and which shall be. So a thing being, something as simple as a piece of military equipment, right? The thing that was before in 500 BC, when like the Romans were utilizing catapults, and I'm not sure if they used trebuchets or not. I think they did, but just catapults and trebuchets, we use that stuff today in 2022. Globally, you understand? They all have an artillery regiment. All militaries on the face of the earth have a artillery regiment. You understand? Where they're still delivering rocks, just compiled with chemicals, and that type of research and technology never ended. You understand? They were doing the same thing all the way back then, like Salakia. Just another quick little fun fact. I believe it was the Greeks, or it might have been the Romans. They had found what they called magical fire that couldn't be down. You couldn't put the fire out with water, and they used that with their naval ships to to where you can hit the other ship with the oil that they had created. And they couldn't put it out with any type of water. You understand? Like this, you can literally ignite it underwater and create you know, like what are those called? Submarine mines, so that if if one of the ships come over it, it'll explode, and it's fire that you just cannot, put out. Point to that being, to even have that in the first place is because, I don't have to cause critical damage. The fire will create the critical damage. You understand? And again, like I said, I can talk about like a lot of the ammunition that we have today that I'm familiar with from being in ESAL's military. There's a lot of the same crap. The only difference is what it was called then versus what it was called now. And then slight improvements for today. You understand? And that which is done is that which shall be done. So because what the topic is today, us having more than one woman as a Black, Hispanic, First Nation man or woman, First Nation man, it was done before. It's going to be done again. And mind you, every second that passes, every moment that passes, that's now history. Everything I just said, everything that's recorded in this class is literally history already. You understand? Which also lets you know that, hey, these things will be spoken about again. It will be done all over again. You understand? Our ways will always remain to be continuous. You understand? Because mind you, and I'm just going to paraphrase it real quick, but the Most High God said, "For I am the Lord your God, I change not." So if he ain't ever going to change, what makes you think that anything here on earth is ever going to change? When he had established laws, statutes, and commandments that need to be followed forever and ever and always. You understand? That in itself just lets you know that the only thing that can potentially happen is just some manner of wickedness. But you're going to be dealt with. We got laws to deal with that if you decide to be wicked. If you do commit a wicked act, okay, this is what the law says. You offended this law, so this is what the law says is your consequence. We're going to carry that out. Quite frankly, when it comes to having more than one woman, there is no law against that. You understand? And that's something that we've always been doing, right? And always will do. All right. But but the important thing is, another reason why the ISUPK is so important, getting a proper understanding of the Bible is so important, is so that, our brothers will know how to have, if they decide to take on more than one woman, they know how to do it properly, righteously. You understand? So then you know what? Because that jealousy of a woman that's not going to diminish. That's not going to be bred out. You understand? We're not just going to be jealous. It's a lie. Let's keep it a buck, man. They just older children. That's what a woman is an older, bigger child at the end of the day. You understand? That's why they whine the way that they do. They throw tantrums when they don't get their way. But of course, that's only if you allow them to throw tantrums. Which is also why I made the analogy to say that they are like children. You understand? Your child ain't ever gonna throw no doggone tantrum if when the first time they start to do it as a little youngin', you check that, none of that. You think they'll ever throw a tantrum again? Hell no, I'm gonna give your ass fucking slack. Visualize and then attack. And I did that a little bit too much right there. No, but I'll give your ass a reason to cry and scream and holler and, act a goddamn fool. No, I'll give you a reason. But then the next time that they decide to throw a tantrum, they're going, ooh, Dad gonna give me a reason to actually scream and holler and cry like I am right now when really this is overdoing it. So how about I just chill and, reevaluate what I should, reevaluate what I want to do right now. You understand? Women ain't no different. Let's be honest. Women are no doggone different. You let them throw tantrums, they'll throw tantrums left and right. But you check her ass out, man, that should come to a quick ass halt. You understand? All right. We're gonna go to the go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 1. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 1. All right, so about 31 minutes. All right. So yeah, it looks like we only got 7 minutes left in the class. I'm just gonna finish off these last couple. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 quick verses. Try my best not to sidebar too much. Just lock it. And that way, the following class that I teach, we can go straight into, at the next topic that I have prepared for y'all. All right. So again, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 21, verse 1. Now, these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. All right. So this is a letter that Jeremiah sent off to basically, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? I believe this says, okay, we're going to drop down to the verse 4, and then we're going to read from 4 through 6. All right. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives. So that, obviously, the God of Israel is talking to us, blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. You understand? Which have been carried away as captives. Again, showing Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, how it does repeat itself. How many times have we been carried away captive? You understand? It's blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. It's Israelites. You understand? Whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Verse 6. Take ye wives. You understand? Take ye wives. We'll finish this verse and then we'll break that down. And beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that ye may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. Right? So it's telling you right there, not only should you take wives, more than one wife for yourself, if you so choose, but you should also teach your son to do the same exact thing. You understand? And mind you, towards the end of the verse, it says that ye may be increased there and not diminished. What is the most effective? The most effective way to increase your multitude is by one man, or each individual man having multiple women of which they are bearing children. You understand? You build a nation much, much more faster when you have one man. For every one man, they have 5 wives, we'll say. You understand? Versus you got 5 wives, or it's like you got 5 women with one. Oh, man, I just reversed that. It's like you got 5 women with one man. I just said it again. Instead, you have 5 men with one woman. Salakia, doggone it. Or another comparison is just one man and one woman. Mind you, who's paying the repercussions of even establishing that on the earth in the first place? It's the main ones who even, who's basically running the world, who even implemented this whole nonsense of monogamy. If y'all look into the reproductive, what is it called? It's the reproductive ratio scale that they have going on. The number one race that is diminishing right now is, the so-called white race, because they're so adamant about, monogamy. But let us also be honest, they're so big on homosexuality. Can't blame, obviously this makes sense, that in itself, but their population by, I think it says, to either 2030, 2035, between 2030 and 2045, right? they're supposed to become the minority in America. You understand that? So that's because they're following their ways. It's such a shame. It's such a terrible thing for a white man to be discovered that he has more than one woman and had, what they would say a bastard child with another one. They would say a child out of wedlock. I don't even know what wedlock means. You lock your marriage. Your wedlock is you just having sex with a woman. That's all it is. You understand? But of course, what they teach wedlock is basically adultery, right? They try to act. White people try to just act and look so smart and almighty and mighty, and just everything that they're not, right? That, they turn words around to not, to try to mean something else. When, as long as you do a little bit of research, you get a little bit of an understanding, you'll see. You can't, an idiot only, an intelligent, how do I want to put this? An idiot only has the appearance of being an idiot if you're not an idiot. You understand? If you know better, you'll know that he's an idiot. You understand that? So let's I don't want to get too far off. Stick to this, right? Jeremiah 29, it's lacking. All right. But so yeah. We understand that. Take ye wise, man. Hey, build a doggone nation. And this is the most effective way to do it. And mind you, if you go into the book of Genesis, again, like the sister had answered so knowledgeably earlier, that's the beginning. In the beginning, where did the 12 tribes of Israel come from? From one man having 4 wives. You understand? Built a nation. Come on now. Let's be practical. Let's be practical now. All right. Drop that. We're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 17. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives unto himself. Wait. Sisters, y'all might have something. Let's start over, right? Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. You understand? Let's read on and get a little bit more context to where it might make more sense. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. So now silver and gold is put into the same context of this man multiplying more than one wife, having more than one wife to himself, right? So is this telling us that we're not supposed to have riches? That we shouldn't have a lot of money? No. Damn, Salaki's his sisters, Akwathim. I try to help you all out. It's just, hey, that's not what the scripture is saying at the end of the day. It says that his heart turn not away. Turn not away from what? So in other words, if you multiplying, you having more than one woman, just like you having riches, will turn your heart away from the Most High God, the law, statutes, and commandments, then don't do it. If a single woman, one woman in your life, you actually having monogamy, having a monogamous lifestyle, right, would turn your heart away from the Most High God, then don't do it. That's still a multiple. That's still adding women into your life. Y'all got to understand that. All right. Because what was it? Just to paraphrase just real quick, Paul has said, Not that this is it's not a commandment, but for those of y'all, if you could, suffer your body to not have, to never get married, then you should. Basically, just focus on this work. You understand? Focus on doing the Most High God's work. But if you know that you can't do that, you would give in to fornication, unlawful sex, then man, you know what? Then get married. Instead of having fornication, having the sin and the sin of fornication on your hands. Instead of doing that, man, just go get married. Just go get you a couple wives, man. Screw it. You understand? It would just be better if you had it. It's the same exact way for it's also gold and silver. Man, if you having any type of money would turn you away from the Most High God, then you know what you need to do? As soon as you get your paycheck, go to your camp leader. Hey, Salaki, sir, man. I'm gonna be an alcoholic. I'm gonna be a drug addict. I'm gonna go get me some whores. I'm gonna spend my money in a way that's gonna turn me against the Most High God. I need you to keep me disciplined. That's a righteous thing to do. That is the right thing to do right there in itself. I hope that you understand it. And then hell, you brothers that end up that are bad with money in that same context, that end up getting yourself a wife. Be wise and get you a woman that is excellent with money. And of course, obviously, whom of which you can trust as well, where hey, little mama, man, here, just take this, handle the bills, and you know what? In time, that in itself, that's going to turn that man into a righteous man. He's going to become more and more disciplined just off of that. And then in time, then he could be trusted with his own paycheck, where he's not going to be, run to be an alcoholic, to be an alcoholic, or a drug addict, or a whoremonger. You understand? Or just anything that would basically just reflect the fact that he had turned his heart away from the Most High God and the law, statutes, and commandments, just like the sister said right there. Turn out away from the statutes and commandments. Exactly. Don't turn away from the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? As long as when you take another woman, if you think about taking another woman, you need to consider that. You need to consider, is that going to keep me away from God, from following the Most High God? And if the answer is yes, then you need to seek counsel. Before you even take another woman, you should take counsel anyways. Because you know what? You think you might be fit to have more than one woman, and then your camp leader going to, no, you're not. You a goddamn child. You're more childish than these goddamn women that you even try to deal with. You understand? Seek counsel. You understand? Make sure that you are prepared for that type of responsibility. All right. All right, we're going to drop that now. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. So we're going to read 1 through 10. Where we at on time? We got another 15 minutes. I'm gonna kind of just read through this, and then at the end of it, just break down the important parts. Like I said, we're gonna be going over the time of 9 o'clock, which is already 9:06. You understand? But I started a bit late, so we're gonna make up that time by just wrapping up this entire subject. All right. So this is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1 through 10. Verse 1, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. So right here, it's listing off heathen women, right? Some of which he was all, he had all love. Verse 2, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Now, mind you, in the top of verse 1, it says that he loved many strange women, right? Verse 2 is letting you know that the Most High God didn't have a problem with him having, being for loving many women. The fact is that it was strange women. It was women of other nations. You understand? And that they would turn your heart away after their gods. So just like you entertaining more than one woman, you having more than one woman, you having more than one wife would turn you away from, could potentially turn you away from the Most High God. The Most High God is saying that you dealing with strange women will change your heart towards their gods. You understand? Verse 3, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. You understand? So he had 1,000 that he was dealing with. You understand? And hey, this is the wisest man to ever walk the earth before Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You understand? They was too much for him. Not the amount, you understand, but dealing with a strange woman. Because again, the Most High God has said that if you deal with a strange woman, if you deal with a strange man, that they will turn your heart against him and towards their gods. This is why that you are not to have interracial marriage. You understand? Verse 4, for it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Now, mind you, his heart wasn't imperfect because he had more than one woman. It's starting to break down why his heart was imperfect, wasn't perfect like his father King David, because his heart was, his mind was, thinking about these other gods that his wives, his strange wives, put him onto. He could have had 1,000 Israelite sisters, 1,000 Israelite wives. He could have done that. That would have been fine. It would have all been on one accord. But because he decided to fall in love and deal with these other nations, their wives, that's why, his heart got turned, against the Most High God. You understand? Hey, shalom on the choir. It's not desirous. Good to see you, sir. You understand? Verse 6, and Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Again, David, so now we just read earlier about King David having more than one wife. You understand? Where it was two different precepts that let you know that he took two wives off the top, they damn near together, right? And then he came back from a distant land and then took himself even more wives and had sons and daughters with those additional wives. But yet, what did we just read right here? And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord and went not fully after the Lord, as did his father. So Solomon's downfall wasn't the fact that he had 1,000 doggone wives. It was the fact that he was trying to go after his wives, heathen ass gods. You understand? Obviously, there was no issue with King David taking them buku women that he took. There was nothing wrong with that. You understand? He was still looked at as a man after God's heart, after the Most High God's heart. You understand? Verse 7, then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord, God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded. You understand? So the issue, nowhere does it say that him taking 1,000 women was an issue. Nowhere does it say that. It's the fact that he started dealing with strange women. And this is also a precept breakdown that y'all can use and refer to whenever you have a question about interracial marriage. You understand? Of course, you want to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. You understand? 3 and 4. But then you want an actual, because, us being a stiff-necked people, blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women, us being so doggone stiff-necked and hard-headed, you understand? Me just simply telling you, don't do this. And this is why it's not good enough. In fact, we're so goddamn stiff-necked and hard-headed that you get a prime example. King Solomon, one of the wisest men to ever walk the earth. You understand? Up until Christ, he was the wisest man to ever walk the earth. You can't even read his story and see that you need to stop laying down with them white dogs. And yes, that's also talking to you women, you sisters. You understand? Because y'all like to lay down with with these white men, like what's her name? Was it Serena Williams, married to a white man? I believe both the sisters are, ain't they? I may be wrong. Whatever. You understand? Point is our sisters have that issue of chasing after these men of another nation, just like how our men have the issue of chasing after them bitches of another nation. You understand? It creates, for one, it turns the Most High God anger to wrath. It turns him to wrath. Because now you are offending his law that he already told us. Gives us an example. We read it here in 1 Kings with King Solomon. But now, like I said, hey, we are stiff-necked and hard-headed ass people. You understand? We got to learn for ourselves. Just like my daddy used to tell me when I was growing up. He said, man, Junebug, a hard-head man, a soft ass. Yeah, because you know what? That ass whooping, aside from my pain tolerance increasing over time, just because I was, I got stronger and bigger. Like, man, that shit, man. Them ass whoopings got worse. Salaki. But you understand? All right, let's drop that. Now we're gonna go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29. All right. Now, see, I know I've been spending a whole lot of time in the Old Testament for y'all Christians that only want to, pay attention to the New Testament. All right, well, you know what? We got to, now, mind you, if you was paying attention to our, the class 2 weeks ago that I had, started off this subject on, that had a lot of, New Testament. But you know what? That was then. Here we are now to repeat that cycle all over again. Get right back into the New Testament. So that y'all still know that these laws are still in effect. The ways have not changed. You understand? This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29. You understand? But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. So this right here is saying in Corinthians, right? Who is it? Paul, Peter that's speaking right now? This is basically going back on what I was talking about earlier, that he refers us to just, man, be single. You understand? Where am I? Yeah, there we are. That both they that have wives be as though they have had none. Now, what you should unpack from this, he's saying that both they that have wives. What's he saying right there? That both of y'all that either have a wife or have multiple wives. I'm talking to the both of y'all. I'm not talking to just one. You understand? Both of y'all. Y'all need to be as though that y'all have none. You understand? And the point to that is because really the only wife that actually hold on. No, I don't want to say that. The most important wife that a man can have as an Israelite man is this truth. You understand? Is being married to this truth. Is being married to the real church. You understand? Being married to the work of the Most High God. You understand? Most High Christ is the men that actually know how to lead righteously. No, sis, exactly. I need to say it better myself. You understand? All right, we're going to drop that. Go to the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16. Book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16. All right. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be her wife. You understand? This is letting you know right here. This is going into the laws of fornication, right? So basically, it's letting you know that you can't just loosely have sex with any and every woman that you're able to, get her to drop her draws for, get her to drop their draws for you. So like, you understand that you can't just have loose sex like that. You can't just build up your body count like it's a goddamn, these women are trophies. You understand? We're not to do that. All right. But this is also letting you know that, it doesn't say, nowhere did it mention in that verse that you're not to entice a woman if you already have a wife. You understand? So again, just another quick example right there. Drop that, go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 28. The book of Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 28. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 28. And we can also read 29. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, verse 29, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. You understand? And then it just says, just so that y'all can see, if the law doesn't, we're not stopping short because the very next verse is about to, go somewhere else. We're going to read the next verse just so you can see for yourself. Verse 30, a man shall not take on his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. So, hey, that's the end of the chapter there. What's the issue? What is the issue in this scenario? Basically, this is just another reiteration of what we just read in Exodus 22 and 16. Just said the same thing, just in a different way with a little bit more and a little bit less information. You understand? Drop that. We're going to go to the book of Isaiah. We'll go ahead and read that. The book of Isaiah, chapter 4 and verse 1. And we just got a couple more verses, and then we'll wrap this up. Again, so like it for even starting late in the first place. It's had some issues, technical issues. So like it, but I gotta make sure that I still give y'all 2 hours though, and we need to finish the subject. Wrap it up so we don't go for 3 weeks in a row talking about the same thing, right? All right. There's a book of Isaiah, chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name and to take away our reproach. I know I read this, when I started this topic, not last week, but the Tuesday before that. right? But I'm bringing it out again because, this is a great precept to even, to open and close this topic. You understand? For y'all to understand that there's going to be a day, and quite frankly, y'all know what day it is. For y'all brothers and sisters that are in the ISUPK, which I've already seen several of y'all, checking in, signing in, doing little shout outs, comments and whatnot. Y'all know what I'm talking about, what day it is, what day we are in currently. You understand? We all know and understand that this really is the end, especially when we can sit here and look at what's happening to Kanye West, where literally his money is diminishing before his eyes just because he professed his people and himself to be the real Jews of the Bible. You understand? Just a simply professing who he really is getting him, is getting all the things that belong to him taken away, which obviously don't even belong to him in the first place. Because hey, you can't take something that don't belong to you. You know what I'm saying? And that so-called white man taking them things that belong to them. They always had that on a stick. You understand? So we know what day it is. We are in the end times. We are in that time where, quite frankly, hey, 7 women shall take hold of one man. In other words, 7 women will go to one man. Man, go lay with him, man. I'm gonna be your wife. We'll go to one man. I'll be your wife. Saying we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. In other words, we will take care of ourselves. I will clothe myself. I will feed myself. You understand? Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. I don't want to be, I don't want to be labeled like how they label all the rest of the Black, Hispanic, and First Nation men and women. I don't want to be considered ratchet, loudmouth, unruly, Salakia. I don't want these labels on myself. So, you know what? Just let me be called by your name and let me show them otherwise, that I can be a good woman. I can be everything that they say that I can't. You understand? And that's where you find left and right in the ISUPK. You understand? All right, we're going to drop that. Now we're going to go down to the book of Isaiah chapter 3, and we're going to start at verse 1. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah and stay, and the staff, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water. Drop down to verse 5. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. You understand? Verse 6. And when a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. And in that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. Verse 8, for Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. So this right here is already setting the tone down. Like when we step away from doing, when we step away from our culture, our history, our laws, statutes, and commandments, everything is going to crumble against us. Where to the point where, our brothers and sisters are just going to simply look at, oh man, he's got a great outward appearance, i.e., these priests, these pastors. You understand? These Christian pastors. Man, he got the gator boots and the whole shebang. Got a doggone PJ, and you know what I'm saying? Got a nice car, this, that, and the other. So clearly, I should follow after him. You understand? Even though he just gonna end up telling you all the wrong shit. Slacking. All right. Verse 9. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. So it's like, so he's basically letting you know that, man, among all the evilness and wickedness that our people are conducting, going against our ways, you understand, our women basically oppressing our men with, with monogamy, because that is a form of oppression, because it's oppressing that man from being, from following his culture, from him being that man. And mind you, he's allowing it to be so, right? But also on the flip side, because you know what, brothers, y'all niggas ain't innocent in this manner. You want to sit there and lie to these women. What the hell are you afraid of? Man the hell up, gird up your loins, nigga, and let them know, yeah, I got me another wife. Matter of fact, I'm about to go get me another one. What you gonna do? You gonna leave? Leave there. You was never mine. You leave me now, you was never mine. Simple as that. Now, for those of y'all that don't know what the hell you doing, how to even pick another woman in the first doggone place, don't rush into that. Again, like I said earlier, seek counsel. All right. But mind you, man, these brothers is, brothers and sisters are, they taking pride in just their stupid wickedness. Brothers will get, the brothers will get amongst the brothers in the world talking about, like, oh yeah, I got 3, 4, 5, side bitches, what have you. None of them know about each other because I got it on rap. Got this system, that's, bro, you weak. You think you smart, clever, and strong because you devised some stupid plan to keep a secret? You know better than these so-called white folk. You damn near a colonizer yourself. You acting just like them by devising an entire scheme so that you don't get caught in your lie. And then, of course, again, with these women, the little game that they want to play, put themselves on a pedestal so that one man, basically, so that a man worships them. Man, that's wicked as hell. You got the pride of Sodom, just like this, this says right here, right? Drop down to verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. Man, this right here is a great precept for doggone for child support. You understand? Where children is gonna sit here and oppress us, where they damn, because we see it. Hell, we damn near can't even discipline our own kids because everybody want to get involved in what the hell we do, just so that we don't end, because we love our child enough that we don't want them to dress, look, or even appear like Jeffrey Dahmer or any of the other, them devils that they love to glorify and put all over Netflix. You understand? We actually take the time to, discipline our children out of love. You understand? Can't even do that. Then, of course, the woman is going to hold everything and anything against you, i.e., those oppressing ass children, to rule over you, to have child support. You understand? Now you got to pay her. You're supposed to give her child support, but the kids, they look like goddamn. They shop off of Kanye West. His little homeless catalog. But your ass got hair done, nails done, hell, got a BBL, and I hope your ass gets infected too with Salakia. You understand? You got all this, all this crap done because, man, all you just trying to do is just rule over us. And that is not the natural order. That is not what the Most High God had established. That is not what he wanted for his people. You understand? All right. Baruch, you know what? Let's go to Isaiah 3. Let me see what that means. Nah. Let's go to I know I said I wanted to end this class in this verse both days. Right, let me see real quick. Let's refresh. All right, yeah. So we're ended on this. So now we're going to go to the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 10. All right. If the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife, man, you can't get no simpler than this. You get no simpler than this. All right. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, he shall not, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. You understand? So, again, anything you was already doing with your wife, the amount of sex, how, the food that you was providing, the clothes you was providing, whatever you was providing already with your first wife, or what you was already providing with the first three wives, you go get that additional wife, and all of a sudden she want to be high maintenance and try to, dip into your, into your money, mess with this, mess with what you already have established with your first wife or your first three wives, whatever it is. You understand? Just keep this at the forefront of your mind, that whatever you already had cannot diminish. That can't stop. There can be alterations agreed upon between the two of y'all, between you and the previous wife and or wives. But as far as you just, you know what, I got me a bad piece. So mind you, obviously, I'm talking to the brothers right now. Got me a new bad piece, something new. She got a nicer body. She younger. She got this. She got that. Whatever it is, man. What you already got going on with old girl or your other mamas? Man, that shit ain't supposed to stop. None of this stops. Your sex, you gotta keep the sex, you gotta keep the food, everything. You understand? Which again, which is exactly why I was saying earlier that before you take your ass another wife, Akim, make sure that you go and seek counsel first. You understand? And with that, I'm Priest Officer 500 on the Rock. This is the ISUPK Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, on a Commander Journey. Salaki. That's what I get for saying my name first. Right. Under Commander Journey Ahana, this is the ISUPK Tuesday Brotherhood class out here in Las Vegas. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube ISUPK Nevada YouTube page, and make sure that you like the ISUPK Las Vegas Facebook page. You understand? Again, I'm Precinct Officer 500 on Rock, and with that, class dismissed.